So, given the dystopian times that we're living in, I wanted to do a commentary on the dystopian society depicted in the Hunger Games films. After a failed revolt against the system, the people of Panem have been divided into 12 districts, and every year, as punishment, each district must select 2 tributes, one male, one female, between the ages of 12 and 18, to fight to the death in the annual Hunger Games tournament, a reality TV show watched by millions. The state propaganda presents the ruling class as benevolent and loving in a manner similar to how Big Brother was venerated in Orwell's 1984. Of course, this serves as cover for the brutal despotism that the people actually live under. The president, Coriolanus Snow, narrates an introduction video that shames the rioters who fought in a failed uprising against the system. He says 13 districts rebelled against the country that fed them, loved them, protected them. Brother turned on brother until nothing remained, and then came the peace, hard fought, sorely won. A people rose up from the ashes, and a new era was born, but freedom has a cost. When the traitors were defeated, we swore as a nation we would never know this treason again, and so it was decreed that each year the various districts of Panem would offer up in tribute one young man and woman to fight to the death in a pageant of honor, courage, and sacrifice. The lone victor, bathed in riches, would serve as a reminder of our generosity and our forgiveness. This is how we remember our past. This is how we safeguard our future. And in a sense, that psychopathic justification for such evil and cruelty is precisely how the system safeguards its future, by ensuring that the demoralized and fearful populace are divided into various separate districts, forced to identify with those districts, and then pitted against each other in a bloodbath tournament. There's no chance of any unification of the people, and thus no further uprisings become possible. So long as the people remain divided, they remain conquered. Now, before we go very much further, it's time for a talk about today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid is back. Download this free-to-play epic turn-based RPG for your mobile phone or PC by using my links below. Assemble your team of warriors, customize and upgrade their defenses and weapons, and engage in strategic combat in PvP arena battles with massive boss fights. The game has huge scope for player customization with hundreds of high-quality champions to choose from. Raid just evolved once again to add some new features, including the new Artifact Forge, which allows you to craft some very helpful artifacts, and there's also a new advanced quest system with fantastic rewards, and in addition, they've also introduced some tough-as-nails new champions. They're developing the stunning new Doom Tower at the moment, so stay tuned for that exciting new prospect. So join the adventure today, download Raid for free using my links in the description box below, and if you're a new player, you'll get 100,000 silver plus one free champion, Slasher, a very formidable warrior. And you can find all of these goodies waiting for you by clicking here on the inbox in the game, and these rewards are available for the next 30 days only, and only to new players. Best of luck, see you on the battlefield. Okay, so welcome back. The film reminded me a little bit of Series 7, The Contenders, which is a similar concept, a fight-to-the-death reality TV show, although I think The Hunger Games is a much better execution of the concept. While the people of the 12 districts live in relatively impoverished and rural settings that resemble 19th century America, the capital is a futuristic world of decadence and degeneracy, which is obviously in stark contrast to the material and resource-deprived districts. The inhabitants of this opulent, vacuous, and materialistically obsessed freak show world dress in an overly garish and aesthetically vulgar manner, vomit-inducingly vibrant colours, ridiculous and flamboyant styles of dress, and fashions that are as tasteless as the people are shallow. Sitting atop this decadent social hierarchy are a ruling class who successfully humiliate the proletariat of the districts by commercializing their enslavement and public execution. The contestants of the Hunger Games must wow the public by selling their souls in brain-dead media interviews, which is an excellent commentary on modern reality TV show exploitation. The insidious and satanic Hunger Games spectacle has become a tradition of this society, developing its own culture, expert pundit commentators, and superficial platitude-spewing presenters who patronizingly feign compassion towards the bewildered contestants. The 24 tributes are trained to fight and survive in an initiation process that is overwhelming to people who come from districts of abject poverty and scarcity. Moreover, they are encouraged to adopt public personas for the camera to titillate and amuse the public before being placed into a competition where they will entertain the masses by having to become cold-blooded killers to survive, their deaths becoming a form of entertainment. Robbed of their humanity and dignity, the entire torturous process is presented to the tributes as normal and necessary, while the subtle subtext of the characters' interactions, from Katniss's stylist, Cinna, to mentor Hamish Abernathy, is that there is an underlying cruelty and unspoken sense of despair and hopelessness about this entire affair. But these people are fundamentally products of this dystopian society and thus have reluctantly accepted this state of affairs. When the very young character of Rue is killed during the Hunger Games, it causes a public backlash and a riot in District 11. The ruling class quickly scramble to get the situation under control in order to avoid further dissent. Riot police are brought in to quell the outrage, and we then see the PR and marketing machine working overtime to distract the public and redirect their emotional energy towards something else.
You have a lot of anger out there. I know you know how to handle a mob. You've done it before. If you can't scare them, give them something to root for.
Such as?
Young love.
The contrived, star-crossed lovers' angle of Katniss and Peeta, with this rule change that permits two people from the same district to be crowned joint winners. This gives the public a love story to root for. It redirects the rebellious public sentiment into something that serves the system. It creates a controlled opposition narrative that redirects dissident sentiment into something that distracts the public from the truth or in some way serves the interests of the ruling class. Katniss and Peeta are a feel-good story that diffuses the tension created by Rue's death and pacifies the masses, satiating their emotional need for something meaningful and transgressive. During a conversation with head gamekeeper Seneca Crane, President Snow explains what the Hunger Games are really all about and how control is maintained over the populace. He asks Crane, "Why do we have a winner?"
Why do we have a winner? I mean, if we just wanted to intimidate the districts, why not round up 24 of them at random and execute them all at once? It'd be a lot faster.
And for me, this is the most important point in the film.
Hope.
Hope.
Hope. It is the only thing stronger than fear. A little hope is effective. A lot of hope is dangerous.
The Hunger Games are not truly a competition. That's a smokescreen. They have nothing to do with tradition, honor, courage, or representing one's district. That's just manufactured community pride. They are simply an annual public execution exercise designed to intimidate the districts so that they know their place and never rise up and revolt again. But instead, the execution is camouflaged by a bombastic annual reality TV show tournament full of pomp and ceremony that is designed to make the people of the districts focus on the hope of survival as opposed to the fear of execution. The ruling elites of the system are essentially able to turn dissent and attacks on their own hegemony and transform them into opportunities to strengthen their own control of the public, thus making the system stronger as a result. It's a strategy of evil genius because although the public can recognize that the Hunger Games are an involuntary obligation, they overlook the fact that they are an intimidation tactic, and instead they can see them as a noble challenge to overcome for the pride of their district. Of course, there are those who can see through this nonsense, like the character of Gale Hawthorne. He asks Katniss, what if everyone just stopped watching the Hunger Games? He talks about how sick the competition is, and he says that if no one watches, they don't have a game. He talks about running away, living in the woods. As unrealistic as that prospect of escape may be, the desire for liberty is still a dream for some people in the districts. Without going through the entire plot, The Hunger Games certainly has some interesting political themes with respect to authoritarianism and mass media manipulation of the public consciousness. As we know, the film concludes on a note of uncertainty for the system, which, given the absolute vice-like control that the elites have over the lives of the people, it can actually be interpreted as a note of hope. Perhaps too much hope for President Snow's liking. The system has been challenged by an act of defiance by Katniss and Peeta, who had planned on committing suicide together, which would starve the competition of a victor and make them martyrs. Fearing that this would create too much negative public sentiment towards the competition and possible dissent against the capital, Crane declares them both co-victors and they return home triumphantly. But of course, doubt has been sown, and subsequent installments of the Hunger Games series explore the fallout of Katniss and Peeta's defiance and the revolutions that follow.